Okay. So what I'm going to do is mute all of you. It's not out of disrespect. It's just in case you have some background noise. If you have a question, you can pop in at any time. Just unmute yourself with that little button in the bottom left-hand corner and ask a question. But I'm excited to have all of you here. We were really worried that we weren't going to have enough people to have a team. And so we're really excited that the 7 of you are here and our 8th family is also able to do it. The minimum that we decided we need for any cheer team is to have 8 people. We've tried it with less and it's gone less than good. So what we've decided to do is to make it 8. So we're really excited to have 8. I think I sent you a letter from the coaches. Did everybody get that today in your email? And so you had a chance to kind of browse through that. We're going to discuss that and allow people a chance to ask questions. There's a lot about competitive cheer that is new to all of us, with how competitions work and some of those things. And we're going to have Celeste and Ajian actually talk a little bit about that tonight so that you have some level of understanding about how those things work. Because I know for me, I learn a ton from them whenever they tell me about what's happening in competitive cheer and how the points are and all these other things. So I don't know a ton about it, but I always learn a lot every time I speak to them. So let's just go through quickly a couple of things here. In that letter, they kind of introduced themselves. They've been coaching for Celeste and Ajian. How many years you been coaching?
7.
7 for you, Celeste?
Mm-hmm. Same amount.
Same as that. They're both graduates of our school, came through our program, 4 years of cheer, and have been, I think they took maybe a year off and then started coaching right away with us over here. And now they're also coaching in our high school. So they're our high school competitive and sideline coaches as well. So very experienced. They definitely understand and know the sport well, and we're pleased to have them. It's been a pleasure for me to work with them from the start of their coaching to where they are now, to watch them grow and improve. And also for us to go through some challenges that we've had that are really good. And so I'm glad that you guys get to experience them this year. It's okay to not have an understanding of cheer or that your child doesn't have any experience with cheer. This is an educational season, right? Most schools, and I'll tell you this up front, most schools do not have competitive cheer for 5th and 6th graders. Okay, so our school is offering that as a way to get people involved and interested in gaining some experiences in this sport. And so our main goal for you 5th and 6th graders and your parents is to get a good learning experience so that we can keep you in the program moving forward. Okay, that's our main goal. And what's hard about that is when we go to a meet against 7th and 8th grade teams with older kids, bigger kids, they know their bodies better, they know their gymnastics better, they know the sport better. We don't do so well, okay? Because we're so young and we're learning, we're not as strong, we're not in as command of our bodies. And so what we have to do as a cheer program is really focus on the controllable things, right? Which is our effort, our attitude, our willingness to try, our willingness to fail and learn from that failure. And as parents, we can help our kids in that scenario by focusing on those controllable things, right? The energy that we give, the effort, not on the result, not on did we get last at the Rockford meet. We probably will, because it's a huge meet with all these huge schools and all these other kids and degree of difficulty off the charts. Who cares? We need to learn. We need to move forward. We need to get better. And so parents, you are a huge cog in that wheel. We know when our kids come home and they didn't do well, they can feel embarrassed, they can feel sad. And it's so important not to make excuses, but to say, hey, the reality of the situation is you're 2-3 years younger than most of these kids, right? And we're still learning and we're still growing. And so it's really important for us to keep that in perspective, okay? So that perspective is huge. Secondly, when it comes to practice, we have had different levels of commitment on our middle school cheer. I know that in middle school, our kids have lots of commitments, right? We have music, we have choirs, we have youth group, we have all these great things. But what's weird about competitive cheer is you have to, and I don't say this about most of our sports, I don't say this as much about basketball or any other sport, but competitive cheer, you really have to be dedicated to being there. We literally cannot get better when every single person has to interact synchronized, on point, and backing each other up, even to the distinct movement types. We cannot get better if kids aren't there, right? So we're setting ourselves up if we're in and out of practice, right? The team just can't move forward. It can get really frustrating, actually, for all the other parents and the coaches and the kids if we have kids opting in and out for different things. So I know everything is important, but I want you to know up front, if you're going to commit to this team, you really have to be there, right? And that's a hard thing to kind of make that work exactly right. But we're asking for your best effort to be there each of the scheduled days for the times that are there. And you will have an opportunity to talk to these coaches about, can we shift the time? Like maybe it's better for everybody if we go 5:30 to 6:30 instead of 5:15 to 6:15, or if it's 5:45. I mean, you can work on that with the coaches. We just need kids to be there, right? And the reason they're doing it at 5:15 is because they have high school practice until 5:15. Is that correct, Celeste and Adrian? You can just give a thumbs up. So we're trying to make the best of their time. They're working professionals. They have families. And so we're trying to make the most of their time and not give them a 2-hour gap in between. So if we can do that, that really helps us. It's really important everybody puts their best effort in. There's going to be, you know what? There's going to be a fall off of a pyramid, right? There's going to be somebody who slips and they run into somebody and they get hit and they fall down on the mat. That stuff happens. We want to take that seriously. But it is also part of sport. Just like in football, you get hit. In basketball, you get pushed, right? Things happen. And so just know, like, although it doesn't seem like a rough sport, sometimes as you're learning, it can be challenging that way, okay? So keep giving your best, and please make sure that you are kind of waiting and aware for some of those things, especially with our 5th and 6th graders who are still learning and still developing a lot of muscle and body awareness. And then the other note they had in here was practice at home when possible. I think a lot of that is some of your individual skills and also your cadence and your volume and things like that. And so they'll let you in on a little more of that. Celeste and Adrian, is there anything you want to add to this kind of intro that you and I, that the three of us have talked about a lot? But is there anything you want to add to what we've talked about so far with attendance or effort or some of the surprises or things like that I've talked about?
Do you have anything you want to say first, Adrian? No? Okay. At least we have noticed this, at least for the first 2-3 weeks, they may come home a little upset if they don't feel like they're not getting what we're teaching. So that's one of the components why we say we would like for them to practice at home, and we will provide videos, and they will get a printed sheet of the words that they will be saying at the competition. So some of your children might come home and be like, I can't get this. I'm so upset. I feel like I just don't get it. Just tell them it takes time. Everything is new for almost everybody on our team. So they're not the only ones. So just kind of reiterating that to them at home if they come home upset about it, and we'll absolutely be saying the same thing to them at practice.
Yes, I love that you said that. As some of you know that I'm big into grit, perseverance, resilience, and I study that a lot and speak a lot about it. And man, one of the things we talk about most often is that things that are, in order for growth to occur, it has to be difficult, right? So the coaches are going to be pushing them, and we should expect that. We shouldn't expect roses, flowers, and soft pillowy beds all the time, right? We have to expect a push, because the only time we grow is if we have some difficulty and some challenge. And the coaches have to try to figure that out. But two, what she said was it takes time. Grit and resilience are about a marathon, not a 2-second instance. Right. And we have to keep pushing and encouraging over time to control the things we can, how much we practice, how much we try, if we don't give up. Right. Frustration is part of that. But man, taking time is important. It's not a bad thing when things take time. Right. It is not a bad thing. And so just something that I love to remember. And I love that she said that, because it's such a key component, especially to cheer. In basketball, we get 8, 10, 12 games. In cheer, we do all this work for December 4 and December 17th. It is a marathon, not a sprint, right? We work and work and work and work, then we practice once, then we work and work and work for 2 more weeks, and we try again, right? And so it's really about the development and the challenge and the process that we're around to try to become the best version of our team by December 17th. And that's the same in every sport, but man, it's even more true here. COVID information, because we have 5th and 6th graders, everybody is going to wear a mask 5th and 6th grade, and our coaches wear masks. Again, 7th and 8th graders still have the option to wear a mask or not. That's up to you. But certainly know there's a better chance of close contacting and all of those things if they don't. But 5th and 6th and coaches will have to wear a mask the whole time. And that's a challenge in cheer. It's definitely a challenge. You read a lot through the mouth by watching mirrors and that sort of thing. And it's just not as loud when you have something in front of your face. When we do our competitions, I don't know the regulations for cheer yet. Have you guys been to the meeting for high school? Has there been a regulation about what they're going to do in competitions? Well, it's high school, so they don't have to wear masks. So yeah, I don't know. We're gonna have to see.
They haven't had to wear masks for sidelines, so we're assuming it's gonna be the same for high school competitive.
Sidelines outside, and it's older kids, so I don't know what they're gonna do because most middle schools aren't having 5th and 6th graders do cheer. So we'll have to approach that with our school and then kind of see what happens. So I'll get back to you on that. Have the kids bring their own water and hand sanitizer. Transportation. We practice Celeste and Asian at the high school in the Quest Center. So families, please know we don't practice here. I'm at the middle school now. We practice at the high school because of the mirrors, because of the cheer mats. There's mats around the entire floor. It's really the only place we can practice to get quality practice. So that's where we practice. There's a lot going on there. But there's a ton of people there that are watching out for kids, and our coaches will always be there, and they'll be there when your kids get there already. So you can drop them off at the Quest Center entrance at the high school, and you can know that they will see our coaches when they come in. Okay, I know high school can be a little scary, especially for a 5th or 6th grader, but they will see our coaches and they'll know right where to go as they come in. So you can drop them there and they'll take care of them. And then we will send the kids back out to you. If you find yourself wandering in the Quest Center lobby, that's okay. There'll be basketball practices or games or whatever going on. You can wander in there if you'd like to. A little different than here at the middle school. And then again, just like I said in the basketball meeting, if you're going to carpool, have kids wear masks simply because when they're properly masked and they're close contacts, they don't have to quarantine. That means they can stay in school and they can continue doing competitive cheer. And that's really what we want. We want our kids to be able to be in school and to have the opportunities that they're excited about. So it's not a requirement for you to mask kids in your car. You can do what you want. I don't get to decide that, but it is a piece of advice that if you're going to do some carpooling, have them wear their mask just because it helps with close contacts. And when you're driving somewhere over 15 minutes, it's going to be a close contact. So just something to consider. Christy Vanderwood is our COVID liaison here at Graham Christian Middle School. And it's important for you all to know that if somebody on the team gets COVID or is a close contact, she'll be in touch appropriately. We don't broadcast COVID things to everyone. We talk to the people, the school talks to the people that are involved. It will probably happen at some point on our team just because of the nature of COVID. And Christy is all over it, following the regulations, works hand in hand with Kent County Health Department to make sure we're doing a good job with that. So any questions about that COVID information, parents, or anything that you're wondering about our practice location or any of the things that we've said so far? We just want to pause for a minute and give you a chance to ask any questions.
So many
Yeah,
choices.
Kevin, I thought I heard you say earlier that practice was at 5:15, but on the paper it says 5:30. I just want to make sure I'll have her there at the right time.
It looks like 5:30. I think I just said that wrong. Celeste Asian, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
5:30. Yep. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. My mistake. Thank you for catching that.
I just have a question about the kind of calendar parameters. So it looks like you guys are starting next week, Monday, and that the 17th, which happens to be the first day of Christmas break, I'm assuming that's the end of the term. So like after that, there'd be no more practices.
That's correct. Yep.
Okay.
Jonathan, that's correct. We will have a meet on the 4th and then a meet on the 17th. We'll practice, Monday and Tuesday and Thursday of that week, which is kind of that last week of school. And I think the 17th we are off of school at Graham Christian, but there is a meet that night at West Catholic.
So just, I am in a affirmation of that, but I just want to be crystal clear. Monday, Tuesday, 5:30 to 6:30,
Yes.
Friday from
3:15.
3:15 to
3:15
4:15.
to 4:15. Yep.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, yeah. And then each week, the coaches will kind of email you a schedule for the upcoming week and stuff they're working on and stuff they can do at home. They do a good job with their communication. That should come out every Saturday for each of you, so that you know kind of what to plan on for the upcoming week. They'll also let you know if like, hey, we're going to do extra stunting, or there's going to be somebody here working on gymnastics. So if you can, you can stay till 7 to work on that or something like that, or you can come early and work on this. They'll let you know those things ahead of time, those extra opportunities for growth. If your child wants to engage in those things, whether it's coming a little early or staying a little late, they'll let you know on Saturdays with that schedule each week with what's coming up. The note also talked about practice attire, athletic shorts or leggings, practice shirt, comfortable athletic shoes, bring a water bottle. Competition attire, we provide a uniform top and skirt, correct? For everyone, Celeste, Asian. We provide that. You'll need white shoes. You want to talk about cheer shoes? It does specifically say cheer shoes in the note.
Yeah, so just really any all white shoe. Um, basically, and then for the competitions, as long as they have no-show socks, that's fine as well. But really just any white shoe is fine.
They do have to be like all white though. Like there can't be a string of any color on them. I know that's like
That's a deduction, right?
crazy.
Tell them about
but
that.
that is a penalty. Yes.
Yes, it's a penalty. There are deductions for improper shoelacing or style points of colors on the shoes or something like that. So,
So can you guys
I
give us
asked
a
a
heads up
question.
as to where we can find shoes like that?
They actually do have cheer shoes. You can usually find them at like any sports store, like a Dick's or anything like that.
Okay.
They're actually not that hard to find, just people don't know about them.
Mhm.
But they don't necessarily have to be those shoes. As long as they're all white in their gym shoes, that's completely
and
fine.
white shoelaces.
Yes.
And then black spandex for underneath the black uniform. Is that correct? And those are spandex shorts you're talking about?
Yes, index shorts,
Correct.
because the skirts don't come with shorts. And so we just ask that they have black spandex shorts for the competitions.
There's a bow that you guys create for them. Is that correct? Like you guys make this bow or order this bow or something that they wear in their hair?
Yeah, so we will order the bowl and then you guys will just pay like $5 or whatever for it and they get to keep it. And same
Okay.
thing with the shirts as well. The shirts are a little different just because the amount is based on number. So we don't have a dollar amount for t-shirts, but
What's
just
the t-shirt for?
the t-shirt is just for them to wear while we're warming up at competitions. So
So
we
you're
all
matching, it's like a warm-up shirt in basketball or something like that.
Yeah.
And they get to keep that, right?
Yep, they will get to keep that as well.
So it looks like the parents would provide black spandex shorts, white cheer shoes. They should come ready with those things. We will order the other 2 items and they will pay for that. And so you will ask them for a check for a total amount of shirt and bow kind of thing. Eventually, is that
Mhm.
how that will work?
Yeah, and you guys don't have to pay with a check. You can pay with cash as well. But if you decide to pay with a check, we just ask that you make it out to GRCS.
Okay.
Can I ask a question about the
questions? Yeah.
shoes? Yeah,
Yeah.
real fast. I don't know. Amelia did competitive cheer in the past. I'm wondering, is there going to be flying? Are you going to be flying girls?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so then I would just say probably cheer shoes for the girls who are flying, just so that they're not slipping. At least that's what we did in the past, but I would just recommend probably just cheer shoes.
So Celeste and Ajian, is it okay if they wait to get those shoes until a week or 2 into the season?
Yes, they don't need them for practice, just for the meets. Like it's okay if they wear any gym shoes to practice, but for meets specifically, they have to have the white ones.
So they have time to know if they're going to be a fly or a base, something like that. They don't have to have them on day 1. And there's no stress for that, right?
No, we'll take like the first, like as we said, like the first week, the second week is really everybody just learning. And we're kind of gauging where everybody is at and who will probably want to fly. Because just because we have some girls that are able to fly doesn't mean they want to. We don't force them to do anything they don't want to do. So we kind of just figure out who wants to do it. And we'll kind of, we go from there.
I think it's fair to say that's one of the hardest parts of our having a young team is people wanting to fly, because the people under them are not necessarily, strapping, strong, solid people yet. We're still young, right? And so that's a challenge. That is a challenge for us as we begin our 5-6ers out in the sport. And so it does come along slowly, but the coaches do a good job of continuing to push and try for that. So, anything else that I'm missing, Celeste, Adrian?
No, okay. There's a few things. One is about the meets / competitions. We do have you guys bring food to the competitions because they can be really long sometimes. So we'll, like in our weekly emails, we'll just, whenever a competition is coming up, to say, hey, if you guys can just email us back in this thread saying what you would like to bring. Or if there's anybody who likes to coordinate things like that, let us know. We'll let you take the lead on that, coordinating the food and stuff like that. But that's one of the things that is a part of cheer that everybody doesn't know about. So, yeah,
Well, why don't you tell the parents, like, not everybody's had competitive cheer competitions. So
Yep.
Here's what I know. When I go to the competitive cheer competition, there's a lot of things going on with parent groups and where kids sit and like watch other teams and what those like cultural competitive cheer things are. Can you talk about what parents should be trying to do at these events? What kind of similar expectations are, you know what I'm saying? Just so that there's probably some people that are new to these events. And I think it's just helpful to kind of give them some information about that.
Yeah, for sure. So usually what we do in the, like it'll be a gym area and everybody get a table. So they'll assign tables to teams. So then we just ask that you guys like bring fun decorations. Some schools don't allow latex, but if you can bring like fun confetti or whatever, easy stuff to clean up, that's always fun. It's a very nice visual, gets the girls excited. And then, you don't want to be the only table with no visuals and they're walking past other tables and you have the girls on sticks with their names and stuff. So we just ask that you guys decorate the table.
Some decorations
Yeah.
from our parents from the last couple years.
You guys still have the banner?
Yes, we have that and some
Yeah.
signs that our other parents give to us.
Yep.
Go get
So
some
we really don't
signs.
need decorations.
But they should decorate a table in some way. Is that?
Yeah. So if somebody wants to be in charge of carrying and or having that stuff for the meet, so there's like a few spaces that they'll have in the gym with mats where we can go practice, get ready for the meet. We ask that they don't really come dressed in like their full uniform, maybe just their skirt because it does get really hot sometimes. And then like 30 minutes or so before the competition starts, we'll have them, change into their uniforms. So they don't have to come to the competition fully in their uniform.
Do they like sit and watch our high school team? Like when the high school team goes, do our girls sit and like cheer for them? And does that happen vice versa? I know at some meets that happens and at other meets it doesn't.
Yeah, if we have a meet where both high school and middle school is competing, we do sit and watch the other team. We have them, woo, yay, go Eagles, on the side. But that's also kind of as well as the cheer culture. Is just to cheer on other teams. Even though it is a competition, we really encourage like being a team sport. So you'll see other teams cheering for them, and they'll probably be on the sideline watching other middle school teams go as well. And it's just a fun experience for them to see what other schools are doing, what other girls are doing, and they get so excited, like, oh, can we try that? I want to do that. So that whole part of it is pretty fun for the girls and for us as well. We like to watch. So you'll probably see them pop in and out watching different teams as the meet goes.
Okay, very good. One thing that I have asked Celeste and Asian to do for all of our parents, and it's kind of selfish for me as well, but they will write for you some kind of like information about like the routine and like the points that could be earned and what deductions are and things like that, because it's a very interesting way that you can earn or lose points. And so sometimes having a little sheet to help you understand the sport too, at least for me. I mean, y'all might know it really well, but for me, that's always a nice thing, just so that everybody has the right information and we're not like, how come we this, why is this, but if we get that info down, then everybody kind of knows and be a little more educated as a fan, and kind of learning that sport. And the more we know it as adults, the more we can encourage it with our kids. And hopefully that helps us keep encouraging them to stick with it and to learn and to try to hit some of those marks along the way. So I know they're working on that. And when they build their routine, they'll kind of be writing a little note for you guys before the 4th about some of those things so that you can be a more educated fan.
Yeah, it's pretty technical. When you're looking at points, you're like, how come this team has like 30 more points than ours or whatever? It can get pretty nitpicky. But one last thing I wanted to add is just to really, which I'm sure you all are going to do this anyway, because these are your babies, so why wouldn't you? But just make sure to cheer for them at the competition, because silence is not fun. And so just cheer your head off. You can never be too loud, okay? You heard
like
it
in
from
your
me.
cadence, you'll say let's go Eagles. And then,
so,
then if no one says anything, it's kind of like hard to do it. So
Yeah.
like, you're going to be like in a huge gym with like 1,000 people, and you're going to be like the 12 of you screaming out, let's go Eagles. And you got to want it. Okay.
Yep.
You got to want it as parents.
Yep.
Your kids will feed off it. They'll feel really supported by that.
They'll love it. They'll love it. So
And like our varsity team, if they're at that competition, they will be yelling it too, right? And their parents will be yelling it too. But that's part of that cheer culture that we want to make sure we're trying to engage in. Don't be surprised by that.
Yeah, so you can bring your little pom-poms, be loud, go whoop whoop, just cheer them on. They may be like, oh, you embarrassed me, but whatever, you really didn't. You gave them the best boost in the world. So they'll love it. We'll really appreciate it. And so, yeah.
Hey, Jonathan has been looking for a reason to wear the Eagle mascot costume.
It's true.
Life, okay.
It's true. It's true. Yeah, I have been told that I am too loud a clapper. So I feel like this is like my opportunity. Like my wife will give me dirty looks at church, like, okay, tamp it down. So I think this is going to be great. And my daughter has 2 volumes, Off and 11. So I think that'll be good too. So
yes, perfect. We love it.
All right. Well, hey, if you guys have more questions, Celeste Asian will be in touch. They'll send you another email this weekend just as a reminder of how we're kicking things off and some of these things that we talked about. But really look forward to us. In some ways, we haven't had a chance to do this in a couple of years. So really building a foundation with our 5th and 6th graders. And I think Olivia is a 7th grader. She might be one of our 2 7th graders. Is that correct? So trying to build this group going forward would really be fun. So hopefully we can all do that and start to encourage some of our classmates to join us in that over the next few years. And certainly they can join a little late too, right? We would take some kids to learn the game to learn the sport if they wanted to come in a little late. So encourage your daughters to spread the word. So
I do know some parents that are interested in still joining up for cheer. They just didn't know the schedule, and so they didn't want to commit without the schedule. So is that still an opportunity to pass that information on and get more signed up?
Definitely. Yep. We can always take more. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
that was actually a big hesitancy for me. So once you know the schedule, people are going to say yay or nay. They'll know it really quick. So I wouldn't doubt if you get a couple kids just by making that public.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you do word of mouth just amongst people, that'd be great. You can, Celeste and Asian, if you want to maybe even send a note tonight that just says, hey, to all this group, if you have somebody, get them in touch with us, so they have an email to get in touch with. Okay. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. I want to get you out of here.